grew smaller in the mirror as the highway opened wide. Summer fields rolled past the window, gold beneath the early sun. I had nowhere I needed to reach, so I let the miles come slow. A bicycle leaned against a fence beside a hand-painted sign. Someone had left a basket there with peaches stacked inside. I pulled over just to look and found a note beneath the fruit. Take what you need, leave what you can. So I paid and left one too. There was a time I'd call this stopping, a delay along the way. Now somehow the smallest detour feels like part of why I came. The road beyond the town was wider than before. I didn't have an answer, I wasn't looking anymore. There were places I had never seen and people I had yet to know. So I kept the window open and let the summer show. A red-winged bird crossed over me, then vanished past the trees. A tractor moved across a field, throwing dust into the breeze. Two boys were racing bicycles along a gravel lane. One looked back and shouted something I couldn't hear above the van. I stopped beside a little bridge where the creek ran underneath. A woman stood there with a bucket, washing mud from garden tools. She looked up and asked me if I was lost out there. I said, not exactly, and she laughed, that's probably better. She went back to what she was doing, and I went back to the road. But something about that answer made the whole afternoon feel close. The road beyond the town was wider than before. I didn't have an answer, I wasn't looking anymore. There were places I had never seen and people I had yet to know. So I kept the window open and let the summer show. Maybe a journey changes slowly, long before you notice how. One day you're searching for a reason, the next you're simply looking around. The road beyond the town was wider than before. I didn't have an answer, I wasn't looking anymore. There were places I had never seen and people I had yet to know. So I kept the window open and let the summer show. The sun climbed higher, the fields gave way to trees, and somewhere farther west, the road was waiting for me. I stalked again that afternoon where the road crossed through a farm. A girl was filling wooden crates underneath a canvas shade. She held a peach up to the light and checked it for a bruise, then looked at me and asked if if I'd like to try one too. I told her it was the sweetest thing I'd tasted in a while. She said her father grew them, but he'd never take the credit. He says the sun does most of it. She laughed and turned away, then handed me another one for the road. I almost reached for my wallet, then stopped myself instead. Some kindness doesn't need accounting. Some things are better left unsaid. There were peaches by the fence, warm from the afternoon, a girl with dusty hands, and a sky without a cloud. I thought I'd come this far to find something I had lost, but maybe what I needed was never lost at all. Her little brother came running with a basket twice his size. He tripped across the gravel and scattered peaches everywhere. She laughed before she helped him. He laughed because she did. And soon they were both sitting there, picking fruit up from the ground. Her father called from the field that they'd better finish soon. She shouted back that she was coming, then stayed another minute. I watched them work together without saying much at all. There was something in the rhythm of a family knowing what to do. I remembered all the years I thought life had to be planned, and wondered how much beauty can grow without permission. There were peaches by the fence, warm from the afternoon, a girl with dusty hands, and a sky without a cloud. I thought I'd come this far to find something I had lost, but maybe what I needed was never lost at all. I bought a small paperback, though she told me not to pay, then left some money on the table before I drove away. Not because she needed it, not because I owed her, just because sometimes giving back feels good when no one asks. There were peaches by the fence, warm from the afternoon, a girl with dusty hands, and a sky without a cloud. I thought I'd come this far to find something I had lost, but maybe what I needed was never lost at all. Stayed on my fingers long after the farm was gone, and the road kept moving westward underneath the afternoon sun. The afternoon was fading when I heard the tire give a sudden pull against the shoulder, and the van began to drift. I stepped outside and looked down at the rubber on the ground. For the first time in this journey, I had nowhere else to go. A pickup stopped behind me before I could call for help. A woman climbed out laughing with a toolbox in her hands. She said, "I've seen better timing." I said, "So have I." She knelt beside the tire and told me where to hold the light. Funny how a broken wheel can make a stranger stop, and how the plans we make for days can disappear in just one thought. So we sat beside the roadside with the evening coming down, talking about nothing while the sun went out of town. She told me about her sister, I told her where I'd been, and for an hour on that shoulder, neither of us needed to pretend. She worked beneath the van with grease across her hands. She said her father taught her when she was barely 17. Never wait around for someone to come and fix your life. She tightened one last bolt, then stood and wiped her hands. I thanked her for stopping. She waved like it was nothing, then said she had somewhere to be, but didn't seem in any hurry. Her truck disappeared ahead, its taillights fading red, and I stood there for a moment thinking about what she had said. Some lessons arrive quietly without asking to be taught. Sometimes all it takes is trouble to show you what you've got. So we sat beside the roadside with the evening coming down, talking about nothing while the sun went out of town. She told me about her sister, I told her where I'd been, and for an hour on that shoulder, neither of us needed to pretend. I used to hate the moments when everything went wrong. Now I think about the people who can find you when they do. A flat tire on a quiet road, a stranger with a toolbox, and a little reminder that I don't have to do it all alone. So we sat beside the roadside with the evening coming down, talking about nothing while the sun went out of town. She told me about her sister, I told her where I'd been, and for an hour on that shoulder, neither of us needed to pretend. The tire held beneath the moonlight. I started up the van and carried one more kindness further down the road. roadside garden, behind a weathered wooden gate. A handwritten sign said rest here, so I pulled in through the shade. There were chairs beneath the apple trees and jars along a table. A woman sat beside them, reading with her feet up. She looked up from her book and asked if I wanted water. I said I was just passing through. She said most people are, then pointed to an empty chair, like she'd been saving it for me. I sat beneath the branches and listened to the leaves. No introduction, no story to explain, just two strangers sharing shade on an ordinary afternoon. Sometimes a chair is only a chair until someone makes room. Sometimes a little kindness changes the shape of an afternoon. I didn't come here looking for anything at all, but I left feeling lighter than when I saw the sun. She told me the garden belonged to her mother years ago. Now she kept the place open whenever she was home. People came for lemonade or simply sat a while. She said the garden was quieter when nobody was trying to sell it. A little boy came running in with dirt across his knees. He asked her if the apples were ready yet this year. She told him not quite, and he sighed dramatically and stole a lemon from the table and ran back through the trees. I laughed before I meant to. She laughed because I did. For a moment I wasn't passing through, I was simply there with them. Sometimes a chair is only a chair until someone makes room. Sometimes a little kindness changes the shape of an afternoon. I didn't come here looking for anything at all, but I left feeling lighter than when I saw the sun. I thought about all the places I had hurried past before, how many empty chairs were waiting behind how many doors, how much of life is offered freely before we even ask, and how often we're too busy to notice someone making space. Sometimes a chair is only a chair until someone makes room. Sometimes a little kindness changes the shape of an afternoon. I didn't come here looking for anything at all, but I left feeling lighter than when I saw the sun. The gate swung softly behind me. The road was warm and dry. I waved once through the mirror and watched the garden disappear. By evening I reached a town I hadn't planned to find. There was music from a window and bicycles outside. I walked along the main street as people finished work. A man was closing up his shop while his daughter swept the floor. She looked at me and smiled and asked where I was staying. I told her I was still deciding. She said that's how summer goes. Her father locked the doorway and handed her the keys. She tucked them in her pocket and they walked home together. I had been thinking about the road and everything I'd seen, and suddenly I wondered what exactly had I brought with me. I brought the sound of morning, the smell of rain and grass, the laughter of a stranger who didn't know my past. I brought a road behind me and another one ahead, but more than any place I've been, I brought the things they said. The woman at the garden, the girl beside the fruit, a stranger with the toolbox who stopped when I was stuck, the people at the roadside who never knew my name. Somehow all their little kindnesses had followed me away. I sat outside the diner while the evening settled in. A waitress carried coffee to a couple by the door. They argued over something, then laughed before they left, and I found myself smiling at a life I didn't know. I used to measure journeys by the places I'd arrive. Now I count them differently by what I carry home inside. I brought the sound of morning, the smell of rain and grass, the laughter of a stranger who didn't know my past. I brought a road behind me and another one ahead, but more than any place I've been, I brought the things they said. Maybe this is what a journey does. It changes what you notice. You leave with empty hands and come back carrying moments, not souvenirs or photographs, not anything you planned, just pieces of other people's lives you happen to understand. I brought the sound of morning, the smell of rain and grass, the laughter of a stranger who didn't know my past. I brought a road behind me and another one ahead, but more than any place I've been, I brought the things they said. The town was quiet by the time I left. The stars were coming through. I drove beyond the last streetlight with more than I had brought into the day. I stopped at a diner near the highway when the sky was turning red. A waitress wiped the counter and stacked the plates beside the sink. There were only 2 customers talking softly in a booth, and someone had left a radio playing underneath the room. She brought me coffee without asking and said the pie was fresh that day. I ordered a slice of something, I couldn't pronounce the name. She laughed and said nobody can, then cut a piece in 2 and told me she'd been working there since she was 22. The evening didn't need much from me, just somewhere to sit down, a little warmth beneath the lights while darkness gathered round. And the day was getting quieter, the highway losing sound, a few lights in the distance and the last cars leaving town. I watched her move between the tables like she'd done 1,000 times, and wondered how many ordinary nights can make a whole life shine. A man beside the window was folding up a newspaper. He asked her how her mother was, she said she'd been doing better. They talked about a garden and a storm that came last week. Then he left a folded napkin underneath his coffee cup. She found her when she cleared the table and smiled before she read it. I couldn't see what he had written, but she tucked it in her pocket, then turned the radio louder and sang along beneath her breath. The song was old and slightly broken, but she knew every word. Nothing about the evening would ever make the news. Still I wanted to remember the way the room felt after 10. And the day was getting quieter, the highway losing sound, a few lights in the distance and the last cars leaving town. I watched her move between the tables like she'd done 1,000 times, and wondered how many ordinary nights can make a whole life shine. I used to think a meaningful life would leave some kind of mark, something people would remember when the lights were getting dark. But maybe it's the coffee poured, the names you don't forget, the note beneath the coffee cup, the kindness you haven't finished yet. And the day was getting quieter, the highway losing sound, a few lights in the distance and the last cars leaving town. I watched her move between the tables like she'd done 1,000 times, and wondered how many ordinary nights can make a whole life shine. Outside, the highway stretched ahead. I carried the taste of coffee and the words I never said. Rain came down before midnight, soft against the motel roof. I stood beneath the awning, watching headlights cross the road. Someone ran across the parking lot with a jacket over their head. A child laughed from an open window, and someone called them in. I went back inside my room and opened up the window. The air smelled like wet pavement and something green beyond the road. Water gathered on the sidewalk and reflected every light. The whole town seemed different for a few minutes in the rain. The weather changed the streets without asking anyone, and somehow everything looked new, though nothing had been moved. A little rain can change a morning, a little rain can slow a town. People leave their doors more carefully and watch the water coming down. Maybe we don't need a different life to feel the world become new. Sometimes all it takes is seeing an old thing differently. In the morning there was water still shining on the roofs. A man was sweeping leaves from the steps outside his store. A woman held an umbrella while her son jumped through a puddle. She tried to look annoyed, but she couldn't hide her smile. At the corner by the bakery, two bicycles leaned together, their tires still wet from yesterday. Their owner stood inside. The smell of bread came through the doorway with the sound of someone laughing, and I stayed beneath the awning longer than I had to. Nothing had changed overnight except the way the light fell, and somehow that was enough to make me stay and look. A little rain can change a morning, a little rain can slow a town. People leave their doors more carefully and watch the water coming down. Maybe we don't need a different life to feel the world become new. Sometimes all it takes is seeing an old thing differently. I thought about the years I spent waiting for a sign, as if life would have to change before I could change my mind. But the streets were still the same, the buildings hadn't moved. It was only me who stopped long enough to see them new. A little rain can change a morning, a little rain can slow a town. People leave their doors more carefully and watch the water coming down. Maybe we don't need a different life to feel the world become new. Sometimes all it takes is seeing an old thing differently. The clouds began to open. The wet streets caught the sun, and I walked back toward the van before the morning had begun. station with flowers on the steps. A woman stood behind the counter, sorting apples into rows. She noticed me looking at them and asked if I was hungry. I told her I'd already eaten. She said that doesn't mean much. She handed me an apple and told me to try it first, then asked where I'd come from and where I planned to go. I told her about the roads and all the towns behind me. She listened without interrupting, then smiled when I was done. She didn't offer an answer, she didn't tell me what to do. She simply put another apple into the paper bag for me. Some people leave a mark without knowing that they did. A sentence in a doorway, a smile you won't forget, a hand that gives you something without asking why you need it. And somehow years can pass before you understand the gift. She told me her husband had worked the market years ago. He knew every customer's name and every family story. When he passed away that winter, she nearly closed the place, but people kept on coming, so she decided to stay. She pointed toward the window at a man carrying flowers. She said he'd bought the same ones every Friday for 10 years, then laughed and told me she knew exactly who they were for, even though she'd never asked him and never needed to. There are things we learn about people without ever being told. Not every story needs a question to become something we can hold. Some people leave a mark without knowing that they did. A sentence in a doorway, a smile you won't forget, a hand that gives you something without asking why you need it. And somehow years can pass before you understand the gift. I thought about all the strangers who had crossed my life before, people I barely remembered, who might have remembered me. Maybe we carry one another far more than we realize, in tiny acts of kindness that never ask to be named. Some people leave a mark without knowing that they did. A sentence in a doorway, a smile you won't forget, a hand that gives you something without asking why you need it. And somehow years can pass before you understand the gift. I thanked her at the doorway grew slow again. A man pulled down his shutters and sat outside beneath the shade. Someone watered plants across the street. A radio played somewhere, and every few minutes a bicycle passed me by. I found a bench beneath a tree and watched the hours move. A woman read beside me, turning pages in the heat. A boy was throwing pebbles into a shallow stream. His father sat a little way behind, pretending not to watch. There was no reason to remember an afternoon like this. No beginning worth recording, no ending anyone would miss. But I think I'll remember it, the shade beneath the tree, the sound of water over stones, the summer moving quietly, the way the whole world seemed to have forgotten how to hurry, and how for once I didn't mind forgetting to. The woman closed her book and stretched her tired legs. She asked me if I'd traveled far. I told her far enough. She smiled and said that's usually how far people mean, then picked up her bag and walked toward the street. The boy threw one last stone. His father called him home. He complained about leaving, then ran ahead anyway. The afternoon kept changing without making a sound, and I sat there a little longer just to watch it happen. Perhaps there is a kind of wisdom in letting hours pass without turning every minute into something you can keep. But I think I'll remember it, the shade beneath the tree, the sound of water over stones, the summer moving quietly, the way the whole world seemed to have forgotten how to hurry, and how for once I didn't mind forgetting to. I spent years collecting moments before they had even happened. Photographs in my head of places I hadn't reached. Now I'm learning something simpler. You can't hold an afternoon, you can only sit inside it while it's still yours to feel. But I think I'll remember it, the shade beneath the tree, the sound of water over stones, the summer moving quietly, the way the whole world seemed to have forgotten how to hurry, and how for once I didn't mind forgetting to. The shadows crossed the sidewalk, the heat began to fade. I stood and walked back slowly, without deciding where to go. Packed the van before sunrise, while the town was still asleep. The streets were washed in silver from the rain that came last night. I carried out the last of my things and stood beside the door, listening to a distant train before I started up the van. From the market was already open in her shop. She lifted one hand when she saw me, and I waved back through the glass. A baker carried bread outside, a cyclist crossed the street. The town was awaking slowly, and I didn't want to rush it. I could have stayed another morning, I could have stayed a week, but something in me understood. Doesn't mean you lose. The road will be there when I turn the key. There will be another morning somewhere waiting for me. Another town, another window, another voice I'll hear. But I'll carry this one with me long after I leave here. Drove beyond the station, past the market and the trees. The road climbed toward the open fields, and the town disappeared behind. I thought about the people who had crossed my days, the ones who gave me something without knowing what they'd given. I thought about the woman who kept the garden open, the girl who shared her peaches, the stranger who fixed my tire, the waitress at the diner, the woman beneath the tree. All those little lives I touched, and all the lives that touched me. The mirror filled with distance, the road opened ahead, and somewhere between the two I understood what the road will be there when I turn the key. There will be another morning somewhere waiting for me. Another town, another window, another voice I'll hear. But I'll carry this one with me long after I leave here. I used to think that moving on meant something behind. Now I know a place can travel in the way it changes you. You don't have to stay forever for something to become your own. Sometimes a few ordinary days are enough to make a home. The road will be there when I turn the key. There